Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven from Xcogani Photos. For today, I would like to share with you guys my camera gear wish list for year 2025. Hopefully not too much stuff. And we as photographers or camera enthusiasts in general, we have a certain level of gas or gear acquisition syndrome where we just want to buy new stuff because it is fun to have new gear. But in my case, my opinion is that a certain amount of gas, not a severe one, is not necessarily a bad thing because it can inspire you to go out and shoot more because you have something new and shiny, right? As long as you practice moderation. For me, year 2025, not so much on camera bodies itself. I bought 3 camera bodies last year alone. Nikon Z8, Nikon ZFC, pre-owned for the ZFC, and then I bought a Canon R8 as well. So this year I'll be focusing on lenses unless we're talking about those pre-owned $150 or $200 DSLRs from 10 years ago just to play with for 6 months, then sell it at no loss. Then that is possible. But at the time being, no plans on buying new cameras. As for lenses, my main focus for this year could be this lens right here. So this is the Tamron 15-30 f2.8 DI VC USD, the G1, not the G2. This is for DSLRs. Mine is the Nikon F-mount version and I have a FTZ adapter attached over here, as you can see. So this is a lens I've been using for at least 5 years. I think longer than that, at least 5 years. I'm pretty pleased with it. But at the same time, if I'm happy with the lens, why am I planning to sell it? There are a couple of deal breakers, not major ones, but they do affect the amount of creativity I can put into my photographs. The first one is obviously the front bulb head over here, where I couldn't use filters the normal way, the screw-on filters, unless I attach a square filter system in front of the lens. And for this specific lens, I cannot use the 100mm one, which are more common. I need the 150mm ones, which are huge, heavy, bulky, and those are a huge hassle actually. I want to get rid of those, even though I used to handle those in the past. And then the second smaller reason over here, is the weight of this thing. This lens is 1.1 kilos on its own with FTZ, 1.3 kilograms, that is a lot, right? For landscape photography, you don't really need f2.8. You'll be shooting 5.6 to f11, sometimes even f16. So this is a lot of excess weight to carry around. At the same time, why did I buy a f2.8 zoom? Because astrophotography. I used to love astro a lot until the local government in my country tried their very best to ruin things for us photographers, wherever there is a location that is extremely dark, they will put a lot of street lamps. That is what they do nowadays. Light pollution is horrible nowadays compared to just 5 years ago. And it is nearly impossible to get anything decent. You can still get the Milky Way, but the image quality won't be good. If I go to a seafront, for example, or a beach, then there'll be bright green color buoys in the seas. Yeah, they spoil everything. So I'm falling out of love from astrophotography because of this reason. Because there are other factors, environmental factors that keeps getting in my way. Unless I drive 2 or 3 hours away from home and then gamble with the weather and hope that the skies are clear. Where in my country, in Malaysia, it is a very hot and humid country, which means a lot of clouds. Our chances are not that good anyways. So I would like to replace this with something lighter, or I'll split it into 2 separate lenses, one for landscape, one for astrophotography. And there are 4 directions I can go. The first one would be, yes, the Nikon Z14-30 f4S, right? Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about this lens, mainly for the sharpness, despite the small size and weight. This lens is about 450 grams, I think. I don't remember the weight, but I know it is less than half a kilo. So 400 grams plus, I'll assume it as 500. Down from 1.3 kilos, I'm cutting off 800 grams of weight. That is significant. And then if I want to do astrophotography, I'll buy a second lens, a separate lens later, like the Viltrox 16 1.8 Pro. Yes. And regardless of whether I sell this Tamron lens or not, that 16mm 1.8 Pro is high on my want list, high on my agenda in a way. Like, it is a must-have lens regardless of how frequently I use it. I mean, it is a 1.8 lens and it is great for astrophotography for that reason, f1.8. Given that the Nikon Z8 is actually noisier than Nikon D850 in terms of high ISO performance, to make up for that, I would like to use a lower ISO value than I used to be able to on D850. So I need to go up from f2.8 to f1.8 or better than that. So yes, the Viltrox is something I'm very interested in because it is so cheap. That is part of the reason. However, at the same time, if I were to split one lens into two lenses, Viltrox 16 and the Nikon 14-30, that is not cheap. The Nikon 14-30 is about $900 brand new at the moment, $900, $950 or so, under $1,000. And then the Viltrox is about $500, so you're looking at $1,400 minimum. What if I throw in extra $300-400 into that budget range over there? I could get myself a pre-owned Nikon Z14-24 f2.8s. We're getting close to that territory over there. And that is like a holy grail lens for many people. Like, they want it, but few could afford it, right? For me, yes, that lens is highly desirable. I will admit that. And it is not too heavy for a 2.8 zoom. The problem is, even if I assume that I could afford that one single lens, yes, same problem as this Tamron bulb head in front, but at least that lens comes with an extra bracket in the box where you can use 112mm filters. How much does a 112mm filter set cost? I think the bracket plus one single ND filter would cost me at least $500, and that is the scary part. So despite being a desirable lens, I'm not sure if this is a good choice for me. Yeah. So I think splitting a single big lens into two smaller lenses, if I'm not shooting nightscape, then I'll just bring the 14-30 and leave my Viltrox 16 at home. I think that might be a better idea. So the 14-24 2.8s is like third in my list in terms of the most likely direction. So what is in second place? This might sound stupid, but I am both a Canon and Nikon owner right now. What about Canon EF 16-35 f2.8 L3? Yes, the last version, the version 3. That lens is going for around $900 pre-owned right now, not more than $1,000. So for the same amount that I would pay for a Nikon 14-30 f4s, I could get myself on a Canon 2.8 L zoom lens that has an 82mm front filter trait, has image stabilization, and I could use it on both Canon RF and Nikon Z via an adapter, obviously. That is amazing. Of course, I am going to lose out on image corrections, vignetting, and distortion correction in camera, but that is fine. I shoot RAW only most of the time. And video performance with that lens is probably not going to be excellent, far from it. And it is not a native lens, which means if Nikon releases a new firmware update for Nikon Z8, that could kill off compatibility with my Canon EF lens unless, the adapter that I'm using receives a new firmware update, of course. So there is a certain amount of risk over there. But the very fact that I could use one EF-L lens on two camera systems is quite appealing. And yeah, that's the front filter trait thing, 82mm, which I can share the same filters as my 51.2S from Nikon and also my 24-35 Art by Sigma. All same filter size, 82. I'm going to save less weight, obviously. That lens plus an adapter would be just under a kilo, I think, 900 grams plus. So this option is in second place. I have three options right now. The fourth one, the least appealing one, is the Nikon Non-S Tamron Rebatch 17-28 f2.8. This is the cheapest option, but I lose out on 16-15mm. Is it a big deal? Yes, it is. Because every single millimeter at the ultra-wide end is a lot of difference. So 17-28 is quite a small zoom range. That is number one. Number two, it is a Tamron Rebatch, G1 Rebatch, and that is not a very sharp lens at the corners. Yeah, I'm looking for image quality over here. So that is the lowest budget solution, but I'm not really keen on it. I want something with better image quality. So I have four major options over here, and I'm still not sure which direction to take at the moment. Moving on to my next gear on my wish list. there is no specific lens over here. It is just a single category, and that is affordable Chinese prime lenses, right? For me, right now, I'm creating videos on YouTube. I want to review gear because that seems to be something everyone wants to watch. So obviously, I'm going to review more gear as time goes on. So it means I need new gear. And these Chinese prime lenses nowadays, be it Viltrox, Maker, TT Artisan, and so on, they are so attractive that I see it as a very low risk purchase. If I don't like it, I can always sell it for not much loss, right? Because I tend to import these lenses directly from China, from Taobao. So I saved quite a bit of money over there compared to international prices. For example, if a Viltrox lens is selling for $400 in their international store, then in the Chinese version, mainland China pricing, maybe $350, $330. Yeah. So I can sell without losing much. So yeah, the second thing would be cheap Chinese lenses, but I'll be focusing on the autofocus stuff. The third item in my wish list is neither a camera body or a lens. It is laptop, right? So the laptop on my desk over here, this is a very old laptop. This laptop over here has an Intel i7 4270 from more than 10 years ago. This thing is ancient. I need to replace it. The only reason why I haven't replaced this laptop after more than a decade is because I spent most of my time on a desktop PC, a custom built one. So I saw no need to upgrade my laptop. Until there is really a need to, but I need something portable at some point. So yeah, if my career goes well, my day job goes well, I'm looking into a MacBook for editing work. So at home, I'll be using my Windows PC, and then on the go, I would prefer maybe a MacBook. Yeah, not cheap, very expensive purchase, but I might pick one up at the end of the year. Not in the first half of this year, definitely. Moving on to the fourth item on my wish list. Yeah, the importance is actually below a laptop. It is in fourth place. A standard zoom lens for my Canon R8. So there is a possibility I'll pick up a 24-105 f 4-7.1 kit lens in the meantime. $300 pre-owned, sometimes $250 only. Meanwhile, the actual lens that I want is the 28-70 f 2.8. Yeah, that is currently around just about $1,000 exactly, including taxes in my country. I still feel that is kind of expensive because you could get the Tamron G2 28-75 for my Nikon Z8 for about $850 new nowadays. If the street price drops to $900 or less, I'll consider that lens. Yeah, so I'm not in a hurry as well because currently I'm using a Canon R8 on a 51.8 over here. It works just fine. I see no need to rush into an upgrade. And in fifth place, the very last item on my wish list for year 2015, Atomos Ninja 5 or anything similar, right? So me as a YouTuber right now, I'm making content. Sometimes I will be doing photography, tutorial, or behind the scenes related content. And I want a device that could record the EVF of my cameras. And unfortunately, at the moment, Atomos Ninja has the monopoly on this ability to record EVFs. I think the cheapest option is Ninja 5, though I have heard there is a Chinese brand making an external monitor that can record EVFs at half the price. Why is it half the price? Because you can't do external video, like external raw video to that device. That device is only for monitoring and recording EVF. So it is half the price of the Atomos Ninja. That is also an option because I don't care about external raw video recording. All I want is recording my EVF. If you're watching this from the US, you might ask me, why not buy an Atomos Ninja Star, a pre-owned one from eBay, right? Yeah, the problem is I couldn't find one at a decent price, especially when you factor in shipping across half the planet to my country here in Southeast Asia. That is not feasible. At the moment, I would say the Chinese alternative to this Atomos Ninja 5 is the more likely direction I'll go with, right? I just want to record the EVF and nothing else. The problem is that it's a big device, just like the Ninja 5, and it will be difficult to use that outdoors. So with outdoors, I'm likely to stick to my DJI Action 4 on top of my camera, hot shoe, or on my chest for POV videos. So these are my 5 major wish lists for year 2025. Very expensive. and I doubt that I will be able to buy them all unless something really good happens to my career. So we will see how many boxes I will be able to take this year. So do you have any camera gear wish list for year 2025? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear it. Share it with me. And until then, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more camera gear content almost every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again soon. Goodbye.